This week in the Delta for the Gene Keys, I'm contemplating the monadic plane, or the highest mind, moving from intuition to clarity. And from this place, from this space of contemplation, there's the opportunity to come into relationship with higher forms of reality. I think I know those well, and I look around and I recognize that my relationship to those higher realms or higher realities is prevalent and not always present in my life. And my sense is that there has to be a conscious choice to come into that relationship. One word that I know is that of transmutation, to turn what is maybe dense or heavy into something light. So I dedicate this reading to the transmutation of karma. There's a prayer in the Gene Keys, and I'll read that too. It's called the Prayer of Transmutation. And it goes, angels and beings of the pure light, please help me to purify and transmute this dense, low-frequency, karmic energy into love, into light, into purity, into truth, into the spirit of divine tenderness. Angels and beings of the pure light, please help me to purify and transmute this dense, low-frequency, karmic energy into love, into light, into purity, into truth, into the spirit of divine tenderness. Angels and beings of the pure light, please help me to purify and transmute this dense, low-frequency, karmic energy into love, into light, into purity, into truth, into the spirit of divine tenderness. Since we're on the Gene Keys theme, I'll start with one of the Wisdom Keeper oracles. It's interesting lighting. Let's see what I can do here. There we go. The card is Perseverance, and it's the 38th Gene Key. So, the 38th Gene Key moves from the shadow of struggle. So the dark or the hidden or the unseen part, which is the struggle, to the city, the highest or awakened state of honor, through the gift of perseverance. Over time, through perseverance, love and trust, you will eventually attain victory and experience your own divinity. Now, these cards have a 3-part format. So they offer a story, they offer a gift or advice, and then they offer questions for contemplation. So here's the story. My older brother died when I was just a child. My mother went into a deep depression. As a boy of action, I fought with all of my might to pull her out of her grief, but her pain consumed her until she ended her own life. Her act of utter defeat was unthinkable in our land. I heard people talking, and it made me so angry my whole body shook. Not knowing what to do with the overwhelming tension I felt, I started fighting wherever and whenever I could feel my impact. I loved the feeling of exerting my body. Fighting and winning gave me a sense of purpose and power, but sometimes I took my aggression out on helpless animals and my younger siblings. I became addicted to the struggle and rarely knew when to stop. As I grew older, I became a powerful warrior with the gift for inspiring others to act, but my personal feelings often clouded my judgment. Once I led a whole army to war because someone from another village insulted my mother's honor. Many people were injured, even killed at my insistence. Just before we launched another attack, a young boy from the warring village, the same age as my older brother when he died, ran up to me and flung his arms around my waist out of pure desperation. He pleaded with me to end the feud, crying, "Why are we fighting? I don't understand." As his question penetrated my deaf ears and hardened heart, I woke up. I started breathing again. I hadn't even realized just how tight my chest had been for years. He was right. I knew in that moment that if my mother were alive, she would never want me to kill innocent people to defend her honor. There was already more than enough suffering and struggle in our village, and there I was, her son, fighting for everything that didn't matter. I wasn't honoring anyone. That's when I realized that deep down, I'd come to believe that if I had nothing to fight, I'd disappear, just like my mother did. Just like my brother. Everything changed after that. I took that sweet boy under my wings, and now we only fight for causes that are worth fighting for, those that are for the good of all people in the earth. My gift to you. I am here to call out the sacred warrior in you. It's time to persevere, to be the heroic underdog. Do not give up the struggle. Just be sure that you're fighting the right fight. Obstacles are a natural part of life. They are here to test your commitment, hone your abilities, increase your aliveness, and unleash your life purpose. It is time to embrace your defeats. Let them make you stronger, more resilient, and supple. You have the potential to turn a battle into a dance, to empower the people you love to liberate themselves from victimization. When you fight for love, not fear, everyone wins. There is no need to overthink or worry about appearing foolish. Now go find a cause that you can pour your whole heart, body, and soul into. Questions for contemplation. Where in life are you fighting yourself? Does self-blame or a strong inner critic often leave you disempowered and depleted? Are you afraid of fighting even for a worthy cause? Do you tend to fight the wrong things and the wrong people? Does a combative style sometimes sabotage your relationships? What is a cause worth fighting for? Think of a time you persevered and you were glad you did. How did the experience feel? What did it require of you? Take a stand for something or someone today. Honor what truly matters. So that was kind of unexpected, but 5 cards came out. So we'll read that. So at the top of the deck, we have the wolf. And the wolf is this alpha. It is a apex predator. Like I talk about, its presence and its willingness to be what it is keeps entire ecosystems in check. And the wolf, being a pack animal, it really talks about being able to stand in one's own sense of self as a leader. So leading by being all that you are and allowing others to do the same thing. So letting go of the need to have anyone be like you are in order to be with you in your pack. To let go of others needing to be as you are to give you permission or to create the space for you to be who you are in this life. who I am in this life. And on the bottom of the deck is hyena. And hyena, it talks about using humor as a way to avoid the things that are problems or pains in our lives. So it kind of calls for sobriety, and that sobriety could be like around substances. It could also be sobriety in the sense of a sober way, or speaking directly or to the point of things, and not using tricks or games or jokes to mask what's truly being said. So I feel this context of stepping into one's own self and not needing others to be that in order to be with them. And if there are hard conversations, or when you're having to step into that place of working with another person as a leader, being able to do it in a straightforward manner. There's always a place for humor, but not when it masks or dilutes what really needs to be said at that time and in that moment. So I'm thinking about perseverance, and I'm thinking about honor and what it looks like to stand up for something that you deeply care about. What it looks like for me in this moment to have been on this journey of engaging my life purpose and to stand up for a cause with my entire body, mind, heart, and being. As a leader, embodied, that can let go of the need to control the people or the environment around him, and speak with truth in a straightforward way. In pursuit of something higher, in pursuit of purpose. We have the rabbit, and the rabbit talks about both like an abundance. So there's an abundance for the rabbit. They're very fertile creatures. So there's let's say a high capacity for creation or creativity, and yet the rabbit is a creature that constantly lives in fear. It's always worried that something, like the hawk, is going to come down and eat it. And so there's just this frightened nature to it that makes it a great problem solver, because it's always looking for that escape, or it's always producing and creating in order to survive as a species, and yet it lives a life of fear. And I feel that in my body. I feel that in my heart. The capacity or the presence of fear, of standing in a cause and doing it in a way that potentially is against or requires that I stand out by myself as a leader, as a warrior. I think about the shark and how it talks about, there is something here that is lurking. There is this underlying presence, this underlying tension that is swimming in the depths. And so the rabbit's fear is in some way just, because something is here, and the only way to approach it or to really get to it is to be honest. The shark calls for honesty in our lives, because whether or not you want to speak about the thing that's lurking, it is lurking, and it will strike. And so it's critical to, or it's possible to step up and step in and to acknowledge what is there. It's like the hyena. It's that sense of soberness, coming into relationship with the present moment or the reality as close to it as you possibly can. So I'm feeling this like, as we look out, as I look out and say, what is that thing that that I honor enough to dedicate my entire life to? And am I persevering on the path to achieving it? But more likely, am I persevering in standing or expressing my being in a way that speaks to and lends itself to that cause in its wholeness, in its entirety? Where is fear creeping in? And what is the thing that is underlying that fear that I have not addressed? And can I be honest about that? Because honesty, like the hawk, brings a new perspective. And that perspective is one that not only has the big picture understanding of what's going on, it can also see the most minutest of details. And so if I can embrace this fear and come into relationship with this underlying tension, a new perspective is possible that gives a more whole picture of not only the cause, I imagine, but also my relationship to it. And that perspective, what I can tell, is going to allow for, this kind of raccoon energy to come about, which is this, it's this recognizing where I'm wearing masks in my life. Where am I intentionally or unintentionally putting on a mask in order to get through or navigate this life? I think there's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. I think there's times where that's actually extremely helpful and critical to stepping out or challenging or growing in ways that maybe my sense of self does not allow. But to do it unconsciously could be quite confusing to one's sense of character. With the elk in the middle, I really feel into this like the elk is kind of like the King of Pentacles. So it's this deep, grounded, masculine energy that's both like this solar force and yet is the highest manifestation of what it means to be grounded on the earth and in this material world. It is like a dedicated, devoted father or masculine model in the lives of those that it comes in contact with. It's like the wolf, it's this leader. Whereas the wolf is kind of practicing letting go and allowing the pack to find its own way, the elk is really kind of has this, brings this nurturing quality to it. Bringing in like a sense of fertility and prosperity to the lives of his tribe. In this period of contemplation, it's I kind of feel that question of what is the thing that may keep me from being this King of Pentacles, this elk in my life? What am I afraid to look at? What am I afraid to have a more whole perspective on, so that I can be more conscious or more aware of maybe a way that I am being false, or a way that I have put on a mask in order to show up in the world that is no longer serving this body or this being or this expression at this moment on this path of purpose. What kind of comes up or is alive for me is this potential tendency to focus so much on the world around me, a world around us, that we forget that the change happens within our inner world. I can try to get everyone around me to change their habits and patterns and behaviors to try to meet my needs. And I can do that in a way that completely avoids doing my own work. Or I can use substance or humor or sarcasm, or even sometimes my tarot readings to avoid having the direct and honest conversations that are needed. These conversations or these the work that's necessary to be able to fully show up in this purposeful work in the world. So we have the Ten of Cups, which is about and this deck is called satiety, but it's the Ten of Cups, so it's this moment of emotional contentment, emotional fulfillment, and yet it's the end of an emotional cycle. And on the bottom of the deck we have debauchery, or debauch, which is the Seven of Cups. So again, it's like this, there was this emotional, not only stagnation, but almost like corruption or contamination that was really confusing or being driven or driving this fear, this fear of letting go, this fear of showing up in a direct manner, a fear of showing up for a cause. It was something that was in process, but now there's we're at the verge of completion, and although there's not like a mental clarity or groundedness, there's a sense of emotional stability or fulfillment that allows for a new vantage point, or at least for the cycle or the journey to continue. And with the Princess of Wands in reverse, it almost says like, the motion, the ability to create is actually not quite here yet. The fiery and watery nature of this card speaks about the capacity for this creative flow to come about, but right now it feels like something like this worry is what's in the way. This sense of not enough, or the inability to do, or the needing of more resources in order to have the ability to take the next step. And maybe even a question of, will those resources ever come? Will I ever be able to have that capacity to bring this fire and this water, this yin and this yang together in a way that allows for material stability to really ground into this life and the work that is here with this stability and the security that comes with that kind of King of Disc energy, that deep relationship to financial and physical security in this life. What kind of comes up is like, I recognize that there's a tendency in the way that to know that one is a leader, for me has been a great pressure at times. And it's been easier to focus on the needs and the wants of those around me and how to help them adapt or change, even if they're not looking for that, than to step into my own sense of self and let them go. And the holding on or carrying or attaching or projecting onto the other in that way seems like like a most true act of service, and yet it is like a intoxicating exercise that almost creates a capacity to avoid what is real and what is going on for me right now in my life. And the reason that it's being avoided is because it's scary. There's a fearness to that there's something impending. A death. And to look at that death and to see it and to honestly come to terms with it is it's not an easy task. It's probably one of the most challenging tasks I could imagine. I think about the shadow of struggle. And I wonder if that's the place of death. That for so long, this life has been one of struggle. That to have a narrative that is different than that, to allow that character or that archetype or that attachment or addiction to die is something that deeply affects my choices and the ways in which I experience every moment of my life, and yet is so tied to this sense of self that I can't imagine it not being there. Is that a mask that I can remove in order to come into the right relationship with what is truly there, this elk? Or can I put a mask on? No, it doesn't sound quite right. I think it's about taking a mask off, but can I face that? Can I persevere in and on this journey in order to allow whatever process is required for that to happen, so that this energy of the elk can come in fully into form, because I feel within me the desire for that with that type of expression in this world, I can stand in and support any cause, because there's no question of the ability to walk steadfast in a grounded way to the end or the completion of this journey or cycle. And that really brings out that Princess of Wands energy. It brings in that fire, that knowing, that flow, that ability to create in a feminine expression by receiving all that is here and working and moving and flowing with it as an embodied expression of creativity itself. Again, I didn't mean to have all these cards, but I'm going to just put them on the table and talk about them. So between the shark and the rabbit, it's thought this Knight of Pentacles came out, which is this kind of earthy, grounded man who's not as mature as the king, or even this kind of elk energy, but it is grounded enough to be able to build and to create in a prosperous way and to bring new life into projects. And because it's in reverse, I feel this energy of without facing that fear and without this honesty, what is here to begin or the projects that are being invested in aren't really getting the nourishment and the life that are possible. And the perspective change that comes from looking at our masks and removing them, until that happens, until we look at that, death can't happen. It's right here on the board, which is keeping this like emotional, vulnerable expression away that actually truly allows for the elk to come into its power. It truly allows for this this grounded, whole expression of masculine, creative energy to come through. And in part, it's related to this love in the Emperor. Both the archetype of the Emperor, but also maybe the capacity to lead in love, to Five of Swords, Ten of Swords are here, to move past using words as a way to hurt and to create illusion, and instead to step into a place of emotional fulfillment, of grounded, embodied leadership that allows others to be as they are, and does the work that's necessary to lead and be a warrior of the heart. To not be stalled or held back by worries and fears, dishonesty. And to honor our life, and to honor our purpose, and to honor our calling by leading in love. So we got the power of attraction, and we got inspiration. So I'll start with inspiration. We'll work on the lighting for next time. Inspiration. An idea has captured your attention, or will do so very soon. It may be a grand vision or the vague sense of something that could be. You're being encouraged to accept the vision, the idea, or the inspiration as it is important to your creative and spiritual growth. Also, it is possible. The bee is bringing you healing medicine wisdom from nature to aid the message of the oracle of inspiration. The bee is a powerful spirit totem. Bees are able to fly with wings that are significantly small in proportion to their heavier bodies. They can do so because of the sheer speed with which their wings move. Your idea, even if it seems like a big, substantial plan that might be difficult to get off the ground and up and running, can succeed. You will attract great helpers to you, and the earth will support the success of this project, idea, or vision, because it is about helping the greater good as well as your own growth and development. When the Earth Mother lends you nature wisdom to support your healing and growth, you know you have an exceptionally powerful ally to your cause. Let this bring you confidence. If you have also drawn After the Storm card, consider the message amplified, which we haven't. Allow inspiration to fill you with enthusiasm, an expectation of magic and marvelous synchronicity as people, situation, opportunities fall into place to help bring your inspiration into reality. This idea has the potential to flower into so much more than you realize. It has great potential. It can become something that feeds and nourishes others on their creative and personal healing paths too. It has the quality of a mission and is so much more than one singular idea. When an inspiration comes from the greater creative intelligence of the universe, even when it makes itself known as an idea coming through a human source, all that is needed to bring it into being will be available at the right time. For the human channel of the idea, it is just a matter of being open, receptive, trusting, and enthusiastic about what has come through. Everything required for each step will be naturally attracted to support the success of the project according to the divine timing. The healing process below will help you manifest the support needed for your inspiration to take flight. This oracle also comes with the message that you are a vehicle for inspiration. You are meant to think and do things differently. You are capable of receiving fresh ideas that are not so out there or different that they stop being practical, helpful, and wonderful. You're being asked to avoid the trap of doubting your ideas are special or interesting enough. You're being asked to avoid the trap of doubting your ideas are special or interesting enough. Your inspiration comes direct from the universal creative source, and you are being asked to believe and recognize the signature of great intelligence within your inspirational ideas and creative urges, and to act accordingly. To sum up, this card indicates that sweet success, like abundant honey, is coming your way through your commitment to and development of an idea that you have already had or will soon receive. See it through to the end. Believe. Place your hands in prayer position at your heart, or lay them in your lap, palms facing upwards in a gesture of receiving. May my inspired idea be blessed by the creative intelligence and love of the universe. May the perfection of divine timing govern the unfolding of this idea into its most beautiful and fulfilling form. May this idea attract the most nourishing people, situations, and opportunities so that it may live out its destiny to make a positive contribution to the world. Through sacred genius, love, and grace. So be it. I commit myself, body, heart, mind, and soul, to that which will illuminate me with golden inspiration and uplift me and those around me with love. I am open to receive all the support and protection needed to truly honor this commitment. So be it. Sorry. And I'm going to read 13 as well because the word attraction came up and it seems relevant. So, the power of attraction. I'll post pictures of these so everyone can see them. There is such wonder awaiting you. There are so many beautiful adventures and so much magic yet to be. Can you keep your heart open to what is coming towards you without surrendering your experience at this moment by becoming too future-oriented? You see, there is magic in this moment too. There is something arising within you out of the depths of your being. In this process, there is a shift in environment, both internal and external. A fertility is being stimulated. This is your time to play with fertility, to conceive, create, and embark upon the process of transformation with an open heart and mind. You may not know where it is all going to lead. All you need to know is that it will be wonderful and exactly perfectly what is needed. Beyond that, allow the energy of fertile growth and abundance that now flows so naturally and richly within you and around you simply to be. You are a big soul. With that often comes big dreams. You might worry that you want too much out of life. Perhaps you think that you are only capable of small dreams. This oracle is guiding you to remember that there are stages of creation. A house cannot be built without the flooring. No matter how beautiful the stained glass windows you plan to install are, the walls need to be up first. Your big life dreams are a work in progress, just like you. If you have been working on healing something within you, started a new creative project, or just taken on a new job or relationship, and feel that although you are getting some results, you are impatient for more, doubt that you can continue or ever find the zone or become proficient in the situation at hand, then this oracle comes as a reinforcement. You are doing well. That which is worthwhile takes time to build. Celebrate each success, even the small ones. You are creating something of worth. Be patient, keep going, and trust. This oracle comes with a special message. You have recently completed a cycle or a level of manifestation and are transitioning into the next level of experience. Like a big fish leaving the small pond and feeling like a rather small fish in a bigger pond, there will be some getting used to it time needed as you find your way. This will add to what you have already done and bring valuable expansion to your realization of your abilities, as well as many new relationships and opportunities to help you go further on your journey. What you are in the process of creating will benefit from this stage of the process. Whether your creation is simply your sacred life path, a particular creative work, or an actual child, there is a positive and constructive energy that is unfolding for you now to boost this process and carry you further along the way. Do you dare to dream and to believe in your dreams until it manifests? Even if naysayers challenge you, of course you do, sacred rebel. This oracle brings you guidance. You are going to attract whatever is needed to complete your work in progress and bring it to fruition. Remain open to receive and trust in the unfolding of your life experiences. Do not turn away. All of the necessary elements are coming together. Allow this integration to occur so that you can manifest your dreams. Healing process. Close your eyes and relax. Imagine that you're in a wild desert landscape in nature in the middle of summer. The sun is hot overhead and you can sense the aridity of the land, the green cacti sprouting with spikes and the strong heat rising from the earth in shimmering waves. How does this feel to you? Then you are in a red, golden forest of trees looking as though you are set on fire with vibrant colored leaves that fall to the ground, creating lush heaps of crunchy colored debris. The air is becoming crisp and cool. How does this feel to you? The moon rises overhead and you are in a winter landscape. Mountains of snow have fallen and light, delicate snowflakes settle on the heap as the dark night sky becomes clear and filled with endless stars. The dazzling aurora borealis begins to shimmer. Vivid green light swirls and shimmers, hauntingly beautiful, dancing through the night sky. The sharp, cold night air is invigorated with light. How does this feel to you? Then you are in a lush green landscape sprouting with new shoots and a warm sun caressing the earth. Lambs and rabbits frolic freely, sweetly and playfully. Daisies and daffodils create a vibrant yellow blanket over the green grasses, and there's a sweet scent in the mild, warm air. How does this feel to you? Say aloud, I trust in the cycles of my life, my work, and my own spiritual growth. Through unconditional love, I thrive. That really gave a lot of new meaning to what is here. The rabbit as that sign of abundance. And what I'm feeling is in this moment and also in this time ahead, maybe even just this week ahead. It's like, as we connect to this higher mind, this inspiration is here and is coming, and we have the permission and ability to trust that we can see it through and that it is here for us to do just that, to bring in this abundance and to see ourselves in a new way that allows the perspective of struggle as our way of life to die away and to step into a new way of being as this grounded, embodied leader that can navigate and create of and on the earth. that we can honor this opportunity in our life and lead the way by letting go of the need to control those around us and stepping into love. I'll read one more prayer. The prayer of manifestation and divine service. Angels and beings of the higher worlds, please help me to bring this wish into form. I ask this thing in order to align more deeply with my higher purpose and so that I can be of greater service to the whole. Please help me manifest the very highest possible potential within the limitations of this form. Purify my aura constantly in order for higher forces to work through me. I make my body, heart, and soul available for your pure emanations. Make me an instrument of your wisdom, your love, and your truth.